Alright guys, this is 3.11 Harvest League. I'm playing a Deadeye using Kinetic Blast for clear, Power Siphon for single target. We're a Wander, so we have a wand. We're using a shield offhand. We're stacking power charges and crit chance on our rings and stuff. This is gonna be less of a build guide, more of a build showcase. We're gonna do this Conqueror, and then we're going to do another Conqueror after, and then we're going to do Act 8 Cirrus. And then I'll go over the gear, kind of how to craft some of these things, the uniques you can use to just bring the budget way down, and also how to use the Harvest League mechanic to craft some of these things. And if Harvest ends up going core, or at least if the crafts go core, this will be applicable, the crafting will be applicable in future leagues as well. So we're gonna do this conch real quick. This is Act 8, not Act 8, 8. Okay, he just died. We're gonna do another conch now. Back to the hideout. We're gonna do Drox's Citadel. This will also show some map clear. Didn't plan on this, but this is good. So the playstyle is just to throw out KB, keep Blood Rage up for frenzy charges, and then use dash to cover terrain quickly. I'm just gonna rush the boss here. I might pick up some harvest seeds on the way. Oh yeah, good old seeds. Okay, now we're looking for the boss. Alright, now let's go do the Warlord Conqueror. He does have some phasing, so I don't think we'll be able to insta kill him. Yeah, so he's gonna go into a phase here. Let's see if we can kill him in bubble. Yeah, so I mean he's like the beefiest of all the conchs, and he has some phasing as well, so that wasn't too bad. We're gonna do Cyrus now, and before I hop in, I guess I'll talk about how I like to do my pantheons for Cyrus. Usually for mapping you take Lunaris and Gurukhan. This is just for movement speed and extra dodge, and also when you dash into like a pack of 10 white mobs, you'll have that fizz reduction. But for Cyrus, or any bossing really, Uber Elder even, or Shaper, you're gonna want to take Solaris. Usually there's only going to be one enemy nearby, so you'll get that full 6% additional fizz reduction, and then that 20% chance to take 50% less from air damage from hits. A lot of bosses just have some really cheesy area damage, whether it be like slams or some Ice Nova or Vortex effects. This just kind of stops you from getting one shot from those type of things. We do have pretty high evasion, but if we do get hit, hopefully we block 50% of it. And then I like to take Risslaw because you get life flasks. So if all your other flasks are down, you can always count on your life flask regenerating, because you won't be, especially for Cyrus, you're not getting flash charges back until you phase him. And then I do swap out my Quicksilver for just a Cinder Swallow. You could have the crit chance affix on here, or there might be an attack speed one. I think this one's fine. So let's do Cyrus. I'm not gonna cut or anything, so I mean, if I die, I die. But this is my main currency making. I just usually farm Cyrus and Conquerors. Conquerors, the theory is that it is a 1 in 5 to drop an Exalt Orb. So if you do 4 conchs plus Cyrus, each rotation you're gonna get about one Conqueror Exalt on average, which is anywhere from 1.5 to 4x. And you could do a whole rotation like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Just depends on your RNG with the Conquerors. Okay, I'm not really going to explain the fight too much. It's more about the build. but I'm going to use Frenzy here to get Frenzy charges, so I'm not going to be doing damage. And then I'll just use Power Siphon. And when he uses Die Laser, that's a free damage window. So we phased him. We're going to keep our Inspiration charges up by using our Kinetic Blast every so often. We're going to bait out his attack to move. And then we just have to get under him for the next phase to start. And like these things, area damage, that Pantheon will help you. We're going to resummon our Golem, use Frenzy again. So when he uses Die Laser, that's when we hold down Power Siphon. We just phased him. Over here, we're going to resummon our Golem. We're going to keep our Inspiration charges up. We can't keep our Frenzy charges up, unfortunately, so we just have to reuse Frenzy when he's attackable again. So we're getting kind of unlucky, but oh no. Okay, summon Golem as soon as he comes down, just Frenzy charge, generation. He's cast Die Laser, so we're gonna phase him. Oh, we got a maze as well. Alright, so again, just keep Inspiration charges up, resummon Golem. Your Golem dies to literally anything, so you'll have to like, he's just running into stuff. We're getting pretty unlucky with the vortexes here. Okay. So for the last phase, we're gonna hold using our Power Siphon until he does the triple laser thing. Yeah, so this we're gonna use all flash charges and try to get big damage down. Okay, so he's this one right here, I think. Oh, he's over here. Keep Frenzy charges up. Okay, he casted Die Laser, we're gonna get behind him. Okay. Another maze, we're gonna resummon Golem since we have time. Get our Frenzy charges back up. And we should Coaling Strike him pretty soon. Nice, that is the fight. Got a Watchstone, got a Crown. Fantastic. You can also get Awakened Gems. I think it's the same odds as getting an Exalt Orb. Okay, we'll go back to the hideout. Quickly go over the gear. So starting with uniques, for kind of best in slot, and these just cost 1C. You just want Thunder Fist. What this does is it gives you a 5 link for your Kinetic Blast, Inspiration, Elemental Damage, Attacks, and Proj. So you'll have like a 5 link. It's only level 18, but it doesn't matter as long as it one shots packs. You don't need much more. And then you have this flat lightning to attacks. This will help your Power Siphon and your KB. You have this attack speed, which elsewhere on the build we're stacking a lot of attack speed. This just helps getting your attacks off faster. It's also a big DPS increase. Unfortunately, there's no res on like any of the uniques we have, so we do have to fix those elsewhere. Next unique, and probably the staple, is Shroud of the Lightless. It gives you a 6 link for Power Siphon, and then you have a 20% chance to trigger Shade Form when you use a socketed skill. And if you use Shroud of the Lightless, Shade Form gives you immunity to physical damage. See right here, it makes you immune to physical damage and harder for enemies to detect for a duration. So what that means is when we're using our Power Siphon, we have a chance to get Shade Form, which just means we can face tank and just stand there and use our Power Siphon, and we'll usually kill anything in the 3 seconds that it takes to expire. And then for boots, we're going to be stacking Abyssals, so we're taking Bubonics here for the 2 sockets, as well as the 10% increased damage for each type, 30% MS. The Deathwalk is pretty useless. It does detonate corpses, but we're shattering everything, so there are no corpses left. So that's all for the uniques I'm using, but you could use something like a a Piscator's instead of this, instead of a crafted rare wand. And then for helmet, all you need is the Power Siphon +2 Proj base. It'd be great if it was a dex base, but if you can just get an int or an armor base, that's fine too. You just have to craft res on it to make up for not having res on 3 of our pieces here. For shield, you can use an Esh's Mirror. Just an Esh's Mirror. This will give you just flat life, lightning res, and then 1 to 10 damage for each shocked enemy you've killed. So when you're killing a map and you've killed 50 enemies recently, that's going to be 50 to 500 lightning damage extra. That will get your tooltip on KB much higher. If you're doing things like breachstone rotations, you're going to want this, just because the amount of mobs you're killing will give you a ton of damage. But I'm using a rare shield with Socketed Gems have reduced mana reservation, just so my mana pool feels a little bit better and I can get like 3 KBs off. I guess we'll make this trade. And then it has spell damage on my shield and on my wand. We have the Wand Slinger Notable, which is increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attacks, which allows us to scale spell damage just like we would scale lightning damage, but it also applies to cold damage, so it's kind of double dipping our cold and lightning scaling. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to make a trade during a video, but bro, accept. Okay. So I'm gonna head over to Path of Building, and you can see we have about 20 million Power Siphon DPS against Cyrus. I guess he can't be frozen, or he can be chilled. So yeah, 20 million. We're gonna have power charges up all the time, frenzy and inspiration. We're gonna have onslaught from. Oh, actually, we're gonna have more than 20 million because we do this swap to Cinder Swallow. So yeah, 20.4. We're basically crit capped. We're hit chance capped, and our crit multi's pretty decent. We get most of our crit multi from the tree. Like, we're getting, what is it? Throat Seeker and then Heart Seeker over here. Something that I do different that a lot of wanders like to go for is they take this bottom side of the tree. They kind of take this node, this. They get this Golem Slud, this Jewel Socket, and they kind of do a tree that looks like that. But a lot of these nodes are really inefficient. This projectile damage and projectile speed, it doesn't scale too well, and a lot of these life nodes are so far out of the way that it's beneficial to just not take those, and instead take something like this, the shield cluster here. So this gives you attack speed while holding a shield, elemental res, attack speed, elemental damage, attack speed, and this node is really big. It gives you 4% pen, 6% attack speed, and 24% wed. So spending 5 points here instead of spending the 5 points it takes to get Art of the Gladiator for just only 10% attack speed, we're instead going to get more than 10% and all this resistance and some pen as well. So we're going to spend that 5 points there. We're going to spend points getting Heart of the Oak and Primal Spirit. We're going to spend points getting Revenge of the Hunted, so this will give us evasion rating and life and damage. So we're spending those 3 points instead of spending 3 points here for 5% life and 10% life. So we're getting less life, but we're getting more evasion and more damage. So those 3 points are really worth it. Obviously we're taking Phase Acro, we're taking Wind Dancer. You can take Arrow Dancing, but it's not too effective for bossing, so I don't really take it. I am level 99, so I do have 1 more point to spend. But as of level 99 with taking the bandits, this is the optimal tree in my opinion. We take some more life nodes here. We're getting every power charge node that's convenient. So one there, and then we're taking frenzy charge here. You could probably unspec this and instead get try to go for these life nodes here if you wanted more life. Frenzy charges aren't too useful. We're taking elusive effect for more dodge chance. Also gives us elusive on kill, taking these life nodes, taking arcing blows, and like the biggest thing for our damage is this wand slinger. Notable, it converts all of our spell damage to also apply to attacks, which allows us to get a wand with spell damage, or even if you're using Piscators. See, if I just slot in Piscators, I go from 20.4 to about 12.5. So like Piscators is perfectly usable. It has the spell damage implicit, it has pen, it has wed as well, and accuracy. So if you're using a Piscators, that's great. But if you want to switch to a rare wand like this, you won't have accuracy on it ideally. So you'll have to go to your amulet or your shields and craft flat accuracy, because we have to hit 100% hit chance. If you're not at 100% hit chance, it feels really bad, because even though your power siphon's firing like 14 projectiles with Dying Sun up, it calculates the hit for each use of the skill, not each projectile. So if you don't have a 100% hit chance, there's times when you're going to use power siphon and none of the projectiles hit, and that's a huge DPS loss. Like if I were to remove accuracy here, we would lose over 1 million DPS and 3% crit chance, which is, this will affect our shattering and all those crit effects like shock. And then for our helmet, you just need the power siphon, enchant. Nothing else really matters except life and res. Pretty easy to get with Harvest Craft. Everything else is pretty standard. Let me go over to Game Capture. You're going to want, if you're farming Cyrus, you're going to want a jewel with corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Ideally, it's an Abyss jewel, so you get the increased effect. And then we're basically just going to be stacking lightning damage and some cold damage. We want just enough cold damage to start shattering enemies. Like, we want our damage profile to be like 10% cold, so that we shatter enemies in maps, thus chaining our Herald of Ice. So yeah, lightning damage, maybe some attack speed. You definitely want life on there, so some of my jewels are pretty bad. I'm getting phasing here. Phasing just allows you to move through enemies. It's like a pseudo defensive layer. Life here, some multi as well. And then we're using a, definitely not required, we're using a Watcher's Eye with precision attack speed and wrath penetration, as well as the life roll that you get on every Watcher's Eye is pretty handy. Okay, and then for rings, you're gonna want, we're actually pretty socket starved because we're using precision, we're using frenzy here, we have a wand slinger set up, we have cast when damage taken, we have our movement skill, we have KB, and then we're using 2 abyss sockets, so we don't have many sockets. So you're gonna want a curse on hit ring, kind of like this one, with conductivity. The reason we want conductivity is we're really stacking lightning pen here. So like on our amulet, we have lightning pen. Wave of conviction will apply exposure, reducing lightning resistance. Conductivity will reduce lightning resistance. This shield cluster here reduces lightning resistance. We have prism weave anointed, which reduces lightning resistance. There's definitely more pens somewhere. Oh yeah, right here, 8% pen. So we're stacking a lot of lightning pen. We're basically just negating all lightning resistance that bosses and enemies have. And then for flasks, you're gonna want a divine life flask of staunching, and you can either have panicked or bubbling, but you definitely need the bleed removal. The 26% quality, you can get that from Hillock. It just gives you like 100 more life regen. You're going to want an Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline for mapping. You're going to want either a Cinder Swallow or some sort of Onslaught Flask like this one with some evasion rating if you feel like you're getting one shot a lot. And then a Dying Sun, obviously. This is insane damage, insane clear area of effect for your KB explosions as well. Also less fire damage taken, seems pretty good. You're going to want a Diamond Flask of Heat. You don't need the Experimenter's tag, but if you want to be immune to chill for longer, Experimenter's pretty good. And then just Nazir's Promise is best in slot for the 5th flask, it will convert 15% of our elemental damage, and we're all elemental damage basically, and as extra chaos, so it's just 15% increased damage there. There's a suffix craft that you get from Unveiling, where it's the crit chance and multi if you've shattered recently. So I got that in both my rings. I think it costs 1 divine to craft. Not too bad. Pen on our amulet. If you don't end up getting, if you're using an Eshe's Mirror and you want to use all the same auras that I'm using, like Wrath, Precision, Herald of Ice, Wandslinger, you might want to change that setup, put it in your helmet, and get an Enlighten level 3 or level 4, because you're going to be really starved for mana. Even using Inspiration, which reduces mana cost, we're still like pretty low on unreserved mana. So we actually, this node, or this small node here, is mandatory. If you don't have Mana Leech, you're going to be power siphoning a boss, and then all of a sudden you're going to start attacking with your just default wand skill, which, you know, does no damage. So that's all for like the gear. Now, like how to make some of this gear, just abusing harvest mechanics. You can just buy an eye level 84 imbued wand or higher item level. You just alt spam it until you hit spell damage, either glyphic or runic for T2 or T1. And then you literally just augment lightning, remove add lightning until you hit T1 or T2, and then same for cold, aug cold, remove add cold. So things like augment with a new cold modifier, you're guaranteed to get, if you have spell damage on your wand, you're guaranteed to get either cold damage to spells or cold damage flat. So what you do is you craft, it gets kind of expensive using all the augs, so you can cut it down with cannot roll caster mods, which will reduce the amount of possible rolls, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get flat cold. And then you just remove add until you get T1, T2, maybe T3. Cold doesn't matter too much, you just need enough to start shattering. And then you can aug speed to guaranteed get cast speed, if you have caster modifiers blocked. And you can aug crit to guaranteed get multi, or guaranteed get crit chance, or guaranteed crit chance to spells. Again, you're going to have caster mods blocked, so you're guaranteed to get multi or chance. No matter which one you get, you just craft the other one. So if you get multi like I did, you craft chance. If you get chance, you craft multi. Or you could even slam again. Like I could remove this craft and aug crit and guaranteed get crit chance, but you won't be able to block caster mods because we don't have an open suffix, so it'd be 50-50. So I just opted for crafting it. And then this enchant at the top over here, quality does not increase fizz damage. We don't do any fizz, so the quality would be useless. Instead, we're opting for attack speed. You can go for area of effect or accuracy. Accuracy probably wouldn't be bad if you don't have accuracy on any other of your pieces of your gear. The key thing is just having your hit chance at 100%. And then for your helmet, if you end up getting the Power Siphon enchant, you can slime it with a Warlord's Exalt. And then if you augment crit using Harvest, you're guaranteed to get power charges, and the next time you're guaranteed to get crit multi. Well, it could be in any order, but if you augment crit twice, there's only 2 crit modifiers that a helmet can hit, and it just so happens that they're both really good for our build. And then you can just aug life, aug lightning as well. So yeah, this video is getting kind of long. But I would just say you could use a Piscator's here, just like a standard Piscator's. You could get an Eshe's Mirror. This is kind of like the budget version. Get an Eshe's Mirror. Yeah, say you were just using like a Quicksilver. Say you didn't have a Watcher's Eye, you just had like another average Abyss Jewel. And say you didn't have like Awakened skill gems, just like normal added lightning. Yeah, you would still be reaching about the 8.6 or 9 mil DPS, and this is with like 5 or 6 uniques. So you'll still be like insta phasing Seavis or Shaper pretty much all the time. Yeah, so that was all I had. Not the best video, but I hope it explains some stuff. POV in the description. I'll have my profile linked as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching.